Hey folks, before I talk about UK first visit, I have to talk about when my cousins first came from London, and this was way back, maybe my primary time. They had all come down for my eldest uncle's son's wedding, Saju and Pali, at that first Parkland's house. I think it was second floor or something. So they had all gathered there. I was so excited. I'm just like, everything UK or London was just too good for me. We watched all the programs, just the fantasies of going there, the accent. Remember like Desmond's Mind Your Language, Rainbow, that Thames. I remember Ashni and Shivani, cute and feisty, so cute. Like I'll share this picture. All of them, it's like little dolls. Then there was Ronald Ricken. Ronald had got chicken pox on his trip, so he had to hang around with a bag of curry leaves, limro. And Ricken would teach us this game, Spit or Speed, which was kind of like open cards on the side or closed cards in the middle. I don't know. Anyway, that was the game, and he used to tell us this funny rhymes with tree-bone mints. I didn't know what tree-bone mints was for the longest time until I got to UK. It used to be like tree-bone mints is a bit stronger. Stick it up here or something, and it gets much longer. And then be like, no, that's one. The other version is tree-bone mints is a bit stronger, and it gets much stronger. Brini and Nina, man, these two sisters have the smile, man. It's like that smile is just nothing but love. I think it's because you smile with the eyes also. Brini, I would have more stories with because she came down maybe once or twice to Kenya. She came with her friends Dee and Bindi. I had a big crush on Bindi. Later on, when my first visit to UK, I would keep telling Jay and Priya because I'd spend a lot of time with Jay and Priya, my nephews and nieces. Dee was also very nice to talk to. When Ricken came for the second time, he would introduce me to Bone Thugs double CD. Wow, I was so excited. And the strange thing is, I only like the two songs from I think it was the first album, number 2 and 4. Can You Handle the Vibe and Body Rot. And then he would come camping with me to Naivasha, debate with Nayan on Hitler. Exciting times. Ronald's second visit, he came. We just hung out all the time, get drunk, because this was my vodka days. Get drunk, go to Sarit Center, remember flirting with two girls at the arcades, Natasha and Sabina from Canada. And that time I had started smoking also. So in our letters, our code word for cigarettes was hot water, and he would message me saying, I hope you're not having too much hot water. He was very health conscious, so I don't think he smoked. Now, for that first trip to UK with my fam, we had gone to Cardiff. My bro shows me around. He shows me these 2 music stores. I think both of them had acronyms, HMV and VHS, DPG, I don't know. Virgin most probably, or Kiss, and all these. You go into a store, nothing but CDs. Nothing, man. I was like, I was in heaven. Like this. I want to stay here. They have headphones on the walls. You press a button, it goes to the next one. You can change the volume. Wow. He showed me everything. He was like, look, we cycle everywhere. So my bro's room, lots of posters and usual women on the wall and all that. I think he had just broken up with one of the girls. Dad used to call her cockroach. It's like so happy he's not with the cockroach anymore. So we drove around the country and this and that, and my mom found out about this magician, like I've told you. She was just into all these mediums, and we ended up driving so far. She was in pain because of her arthritis, but she still wanted to do this. So we go to this, what do you even want to call him? He's not a naturopath. He used to talk to ghosts, and he's like, okay, ghost, after you operated on her, he's like, okay, you're next. I lie down. He's clicking his fingers to all these, to the air, acting like, you know, a ghost nurse here. Give me this scalpel. Just calling out names, doing some operations like this. Cha, 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 cha. It's like, what? And then he did do a few clicks on my head after that. Did I feel any different? No. Was my luck going to change? Hell no. Actually, you'll hear more about it in the next one. So during this drive to the country and all that, we found a car boot sale. My parents bought me my first, it was like a padded vest. And vests have been my thing ever since. See? So, get back to London. Our main base was Big Buck and Mayuri's house. While my parents were still there, they were packing up and they're like, look, Paris can stay. London a little bit more, this and that. I was so happy. I think I stayed there for like 6 weeks or something. And my dad says, here, 200 or 300 pounds, this should be enough for you for 6 weeks. Then my mom's like, look, that's not going to be anywhere near enough. She snuck me some more money and she's like, look, whenever you need money, ask the family, we'll sort it out when you get back. Oh, thank God. But that was around the same time, this beggar story. I'll tell you the beggar story. At some point, I was hanging around on my own. So I was sitting outside one of these tube stations, just stressing. I don't know if I was doing it publicly, I don't remember that bit, but I remember some kid walking up to me. And so I told him the story. I'm just like, look man, father always does this to me. Like, I was just venting. Around that same time, some people I knew must have seen me pass or something. Basically, when I went back to Kenya, the story was I was begging on the streets of London. Anyway, this kid is like, look, don't stress, man. Like, if you need some help to go back or whatever, I'll spot you some change. And the other reason I was stressing is because I wasn't hanging with my cousin Sachit anymore. So, let's go to Sachit's story. My coolest cousin, the cousin I look up to ever since, I don't know, way back when. Back to his story, when he used to come back from America, he would take us out. So one of the days he took us out, I think he was driving a red Mitsubishi then, and we went to Mayfair for drinks. Now they were having drinks. I just drink like I've never seen alcohol. I just swallow it, like gulp it down. So I was already high by the time we got back home. And I was like, okay, Sajid, you open the gate, I'll drive. And I did some silly thing. So next time he caught up with me, he's like, listen, Paras, you have to pace yourself. Always has wisdom for me. He'll see how things are and then he'll give me a few tips on things. He would take me to pubs. I would have Kronenberg, that 1664 drink. Or meet his friend Tom, Kathleen. So different pubs, catch up with all these guys. Tom had a philosophy. He's like, I don't mind drinking as long as I do enough bench so that my chest is always bigger than my belly. Now Sachet took me to a place, Molton Street or Bolton Street. It's like just all models. You're just going to see all models, all high-end looking women. He would teach me how to use the tube. He took me to Cambridge and we went punting. We also went to some pub, bar, some establishment which looked like a cave, which had a tree growing in the corner and a big trunk of a tree. Back to Buck Mayuri. So at their house, upstairs completely, was Ahmed Masa. He used to stay in his room most of the time. And there was always a smell of like tobacco or something. So that was the area I used to sneak a cigarette every now and then. These are my confessions, guys. Lalta Masi, chill a lot with her downstairs. Most of the time I spent with Mayuri because she was always so nice to talk to. We would talk about so many things and all that. And when the kids were around, then I would spend a lot more time with kids. Jay and Priya spend a lot of time. Jay would teach me piano. And some Russian tune. He was really good with piano. In the mornings we would watch Crystal Maze. At that time Teletubbies was a big thing. So again. And Priyal loved Teletubbies, so I was like, yeah, I'll get into that. Buck was always chilled, lots of humor. And that living room, they had this really cool, like tan sofas, low, and between two of the single ones, there's a box of Quality Street, so I always hung out there. Oh, Jay loved watching The Mask because that's the set they had. I celebrated my 17th birthday with them, and they got me a cake which I really loved. I hardly got it in Kenya. It's those sponge cream cakes. Mayuri took me to Madame Tussauds. I think I saw Mr. T, maybe Amitabh. Next house I stayed was at Batuk's. Batuk uncle had a shop downstairs and they lived upstairs. And I was excited. So I think one of the nights when everyone was going to sleep, I couldn't sleep. I just snuck down, just near the door entrance. Just looked and I was like, that top shelf, man, that's what I want. I was just like timing all those magazines, the adult magazines. I finally got some, not from Batuk uncle, but I had to get some from somewhere to share with the boys. At their house, I remember Anju auntie has told me about the bathroom routine, which we even use at our house. I remember watching Friends and getting into Friends. That time I really liked Rachel. And I don't think Nina was staying there at that point. She must have been married by then. But Brini took me out one day. Now, this is a life-changing story. I think we went to Brent Cross first. We were planning to go cinemas, or we didn't go to cinemas, and instead, let's call this guy Van Damme. I used to call him Van Damme because he reminded me of Van Damme. He was the introduction to a lot of people when it came to getting irate. So, we ended up going to a park. Boys are going to the park, girls are going somewhere else. We all do something, and we end up laughing like crazy. The biggest laugh I remember him doing was one, he cracked everyone else up, but he cracked me also so much, even though I didn't know the context, was some imitation of a teacher where he was like, what I Anyway, after that, this thing became my salvation. But yeah, this whole sex thing, oh my gosh, it was everywhere. Everywhere. Posters. Jerry Halliwell was just about to expose herself, or she must have done then. Like, I was so overstimulated. Even the clubbing, slow dancing wasn't slow dancing. It was crotch on thigh dancing. Like, oh my gosh, I felt like even just that dance I did was committing some infidelities. You know what I mean? Like, slow dancing to me was holding someone. If they're short, they stand on your feet and then you just keep penguin steps round and round. Penguin. This one was like grind on you, leave a skid mark on your thigh. My gosh, too much. Batuk uncle, we used to imitate him. He has that slurp. Next was Rekha Mami, Ashni, Shivani. Stayed at theirs. They live very close to Arnos Grove, so bonded, talked all night long with Rekha auntie, Ashni, Shivani. And few things I remember was Ashni doing something like I most probably have a picture of this. And by now I had already bought myself a nice hat. I think I must have bought some handcuffs, vampire outfit, like makeup and stuff. That time I was very into vampires. If you don't know my email, you don't know. Now I wouldn't see Ashni Shivani a lot because they had gone to Kenya. So the only thing I remember after that was Jandu uncle sent me a card. He always used to call me Paresh. So he signed his card as, hey Paresh, happy birthday. And Shivani's like, look, no matter what, once you go back you're going to hear things, but so nothing but love with us. Next is Harish uncle, Ilsa auntie. I don't think we stayed at theirs, but we would see them a lot. Ilsa auntie used to do a big, every time Christmas was there, she did a big thing. And Harish uncle, his story I remember, I think he ran away to come to UK and he became a postman, and he gave me one of the jackets I cherished. Everywhere I went I used to wear that. postman jacket. It was so nice. Like inside it had these cuffs so the warmth stays in. Pockets, inside pockets, side pockets, flip pockets. This is one of my go-to jackets. He gave me a lot of clothes to take with me. And he used to do roll-up cigarettes. So I was like, I want to be this guy. And luckily, I got to do a lot of things he did. And the other thing was rolling cigarettes. So we used to share cigarettes. That was much later. Harish Uncle's style was like hippie, mod, vintage style. When he passed away, Ilsa auntie told me to come and pick up some clothes, and he used to wear these really cool wedges, polo necks, roll necks, and all those kind of things. And they had a lovely garden. It was like a long thing, wheel path, and I like all these tree tunnels and things. So they kept it really cool, really nice, fantasy kind of area. Now, other family members, we went to the park with maybe Bijal, Darsh, Sonal, Buck, Junior Buck, maybe Geeta. Then over to Croydon to Ronald Ricken guys. Ronald Ricken, Hasmukh Uncle, and Budhi Mami. Now, Hasmukh Uncle had this really happy teddy bear laugh, always laughing. And Ricken, by now, he had kind of gone into his own thing. Like I remember he was collecting, the cigarette cartons. They used to come with some kind of card, so he was really into that. So I would see him downstairs where I was sleeping in the living room doing all this, rubber bands. I remember rubber bands. And around that time I had bought Fuji's album, Prodigy's first two albums. So I was playing these on loop. It's going crazy with that. Speaking of which, so back to Sachit. Because of Sachit, I started buying singles also. I bought Absolutely Fabulous single because I really like that song, the synth, Pet Shop Boys. I bought Living Joy's single, Don't Stop Moving, Keep It Up. What a nice song. I bought Breathe, the single, Prodigy, and Firestarter, the single, Prodigy, because they had these extra songs, The Trick and something else, and I was just so impressed. So thanks to Sachit, I started buying singles. Otherwise, I like keeping things chronological by album, as you'll see in my Excel sheets of all my playlists and stuff. Back to Ronald, I would hang out with him so much more. We bonded so much more. I think by now, after his visit to UK, he was really deep into Mahikari, which my mom introduced him to. And recently he sent me pictures of the shrine he's got. Wow, that is impressive. So we would go clubbing. Now he would wake up very early to do his run because they had a big park behind the house or this area, grassy area. Have this giant bowl of Cocoa Pops. Man, he ate a lot. Had a six-pack. Did he have this push-up thing or something to do? Some kind of frame somewhere. Either pull-ups or sit-ups. We used to go clubbing to Limelight mostly. My favorite place, because this place had lots of different rooms, lots of levels. So I think it was 2 or 3 levels of different music and then different areas. And we would meet a girl called Catch. At one point, the bouncers kicked me out because some guy snuck in through the fire escape or the back door or something. And I was just hanging there. So that guy snuck in. And I'm like, listen, I've been in. He was just like, no, you're out. So kicked me out, closed the door. I had to go to the entrance. I think I pleaded and I'm like, look, man, my jacket's in there. Come on, man, you can't do this. They wouldn't let me in. So I don't know. I must have paid to get back in. And that time I liked my Alco Pops also. So it was Hooch. I think VK and WKD and Smirnoff Ice and all those came much later. Mule. But Mule used to make my ribs or something ache. Heart or ribs or something. So the songs I remember around that time was like Return of the Mac. Yes, he do. Twisted. I didn't like Keith Sweat's Twisted for a very long time. Living Joy Dreamer, I've already talked about. Another party I went with Ronald was one of his friends had a thing at the Loft. And I met 2 Amy's. Amy Beer, Amy Garlic. I really liked one of them. This Amy is the one I did the cross dancing with. Imagine 16 hormones all over, and oh man. And I would learn this term called making out. So making out, people were making out, means sucking face. Now we ended up that night at one of the Amy's places. At some point we wanted cigarettes, so we found some post-its, rolled oregano and this and that, tried to smoke it but wouldn't light and all that. Amy told me how to ask her Spanish partner how to ask for a lighter in Spanish. And all of these stories, I would go running to Jay and Priya and tell them, Amy beer, Amy garlic, bindi, this one, that one, I like this one, I like that one. So the other things I bought was this cassette, 2 cassettes. One video cassette was breakdance championships, and I really got into breakdance when I got back home. My wrists would constantly ache because of the moves and all that. And the other video was Prodigy's, can't remember which concert or whatever, but Maxim had these cat eyes. These guys were just crazy. Like, I remember the album, reading the covers and everything, Dust Particles, Maxim. Leroy's dancing, man. That guy used to cut shapes. The leg dance he used to do was crazy. Chill with Jay and Priya, confess, tell them things, and like, be that cool guy telling cool stories. But I took one story too far. I don't know how it unfolded. I think it was when my suitcase had all these that vampire stuff and handcuffs and all that. So I must have showed the hat or something, and that magazine just popped out or whatever it was. And I ended up telling them about the birds and the bees, and it wasn't my place to do so. I didn't realize what I had done, but later my mom would explain to me. So yeah, my bad. I'm very grateful that my family, my mom's side of the family, they're not as dramatic or soap opera, like, oh, things are bad. They just gave me a bit of a ribbing and like, yeah, you've been naughty, haven't you? And when I got back to Kenya, we had already come back to a whole lot of dramas. It had to do with me being forbidden, end of the world, dramatics. Forbidden to see the family again. You can't see mom's family again because la la la. And I was like, yeah, screw that. I grew up with these guys. There's no way I'm going to be doing that. I came back to some other crap too because my cousin was telling me, hey, things have been going down. You need to talk to your woman. So there's that. And the fact that now I had been bitten by the UK bug. I just wanted to be out of Kenya. I wanted to be in London. I wanted to be living my life, doing all the things I wanted to do and fulfill all my wishes and all that. Trouble begins. The roller coaster begins. And that's in the next one, so see you then. A few more memories were that I would catch up with Kush and Darshit because they had already moved there. I think it was Finsbury Park or Finsbury or somewhere. Went to see Deepa again. And her dad, also a graphic designer, was a bit more stern with me this time, so maybe he knew about us, so I don't know, but at least I got to see them. And that time I used to carry this diary which I used to show Jay and Priya. It's like threefold with a magnet, so one side is all your file of X kind of addresses and everything. I'd be like, this one stays here, that one stays there. Other side was something else, and notes and calendars for birthdays. Dad's side of the fam, we stayed at Nalini Faiz, and I remember sleeping on the floor on the mattress. They were sitting on the bed all night long just talking. And that side of the fam, they love talking about like old stories, and I've heard it so many times. There'll be like so many different versions depending on who's present or whatever the situation is. So I'd heard all those and I'm like, man, I just want to sleep. Caught up with the lovely Aditi, and I can't remember Shrenik, but maybe in the future, I think it was the future one, where we got to see, he took us to his attic, which was huge. He had his gym, his bench, everything. And he had this little area where he collected really exotic liqueurs. I remember having a red one, and then my dad doing some bench press and stuff. So Shrenik is the coolest cousin from dad's side. And then the other family, I don't remember. Also at Nalini Fai's house, Vishal got us Macca's because I wanted McDonald's. I've been wanting it ever since I landed. And because they don't do beef at home, we've My first one was chicken fillet. It's pretty good. And I wouldn't see much of them after my mom and dad and bro left back for UK. So I'd be staying more with my mom's side of the family and doing everything with them. My cousin Vishal took me to the pub once, and he had this really like a proper Shaggy character friend, long hair. I called him Shaggy, or maybe his name was Shaggy. Had some funny stories. But yeah, that's that.